Yeah, last April, I was sitting in the yard of where I work down in LaGrange, Georgia, for Walmart. And I was sitting in my tractor taking a break. All of a sudden, I just got this pain in my stomach, my gut area, pain like I've never felt before. I knew something was wrong, and I just knew I couldn't drive. I couldn't drive. So I went in and told him I needed to go home. And I drove home, and the closer I got to the house, the more pain it was. And in my mind, stubborn and hard headed, I don't like going to the doctor. And definitely don't like going to the hospital. I just told myself, if I can get home, I'll be fine. And I pulled up to the house and I walked in the house. It was at night. I remember my wife was just in bed. She wasn't sleeping, but I think she was in bed. I remember walking in there and just kind of doubled over. And I said, honey, I got to go to the hospital. And she's like, what's going on? And I told her. She took me to the ER. They rushed me right in. At first, they thought it was appendicitis. But then after a CT scan, they found out I had a mass in my colon, and it turned out to be cancer. Unfortunately, this was during COVID, and you weren't allowed to have guests in the hospital. So there I am, all by myself, 55 years old. I ain't never really been in the hospital, let alone go to the doctor's office or anything. Because to me, I'm Superman. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget sitting in the. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a little emotional, but sitting in the hospital room and having the surgeon come in because they had to go in and remove the mass. And at that time, they didn't know it was cancer. And him walking in, and surgeons are great people, but some of them don't have the best bedside manner. And he just walked in. He says, Mr. Lex, I'm sorry to tell you, but you got cancer. You got stage 4 colon cancer. And I was just, all by myself. And, I'm bucket of tears. I'm a big burly guy. I'm 6'2", and I don't cry much, but I do now. Boy, I'll tell you what, somebody tells you had cancer or you have cancer, it just changes your outlook on life. So here I am, I'm going through all the process of what am I going to do? How am I going to tell my wife? How am I going to tell my kids? So this was on I think it was Friday. Surgeon says, well, there'll be an oncologist coming in on Monday to talk to you. So I got to go through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday thinking about this. Like I said, I couldn't have guests. So I'm in this hospital room all by myself. And luckily, the hospital I was at was only one floor. So my wife would sneak in and she'd go to the window and meet me at the window. And we get to, touch hands against the window and, just kind of have that moment together. But from there, I went and I did chemo. I did chemo for 6 months. I did 12 treatments. And November of last year was my last treatment. And I've actually got to ring the bell because at that time I was cancer free. And it was short lived. After November, 3 months later, I had a follow-up CT scan or PET scan, it was. And they found out the cancer had spread. It's in 3 different areas. So at that time in my life, I was so hyped up because, I thought I'd beat this. I thought I'd beat this. And when they tell you that it's back and it's aggressive, man, I fell. I had a low like I've never had before. All my family came up to Georgia to visit with me. I remember my whole family was here, and I'm trying to put on this front, trying to be happy for them, trying to be positive, but deep down inside, I'd given up. I had given up, and I remember I'm sitting on the couch one day. My dad, my brother, my sister were up here. My wife was on the couch with me, and I can't put on this front anymore. And I just want to cry. I want to cry so bad because all I could think in my head is I'm going to die. I'm going to leave my wife. I'm going to leave my kids. And I remember getting up and walking out in my front yard because I didn't want my family to see me like that because, I'm bulletproof. I'm strong, So I go out in the front yard, and I remember I was sobbing like a baby, just like a baby. And all of a sudden I just looked up and I said, Lord, I can't do this by myself. I said, I cannot do this by myself. I need you to help me. I said, I've been trying to do this by myself, and I need your help. And in an instant, I felt this calmness come over my body. And this, I had a cold chill. And then all of a sudden, I had this sense of joy. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, you're such an idiot. I've been trying to do this by myself this whole time. And here I got my whole family up here that took time off of work to come up here to support me. And I have all of these great friends that are messaging me, because I went for 3 weeks where I wouldn't take anybody's phone calls. I wouldn't respond to anybody's text messages. And I just felt like the Lord put it on my heart and said, you know what? You're an idiot. You need to wake up. Look at all these people around you that are supporting you. And I'm here for you. You just got to open up. And from that day forward, my attitude has changed completely. I mean, like a complete 180. So as my dad would say, John, it's time to get your head out of your butt. And I did. I decided, you know what? I'm not going to take this, lying down. I'm going to fight this with everything I got. And from that moment on, I've just had this passion to go out and not only beat this, but to let people know what's going on with me.